So EdPuzzle, again, EdPuzzle is a site that can be used totally for free by any teachers. You can pay for a pro subscription. The district will not be paying for those. Really, the only advantage to a pro subscription is it allows you to house more lessons on their website than the free version. With the free version, I believe you're only allowed to have up to 25 videos live at any given time. But in the end, I found that I really don't need more than 25 live at any given time anyway. And then you can just archive the old ones and then bring them back as you need them. So I've never found the need to use the pro. They gave us all pro for part of the year last year. Don't know if anybody played with that, but I really found that the only advantage to pro is that you can house a lot more. So there's a little bit less flip-flop in your videos in and out of live. Otherwise, I haven't found a lot of benefit to pro. So to get to EdPuzzle, you simply go to edpuzzle.com. Actually, let me pull up a quick tool here. What I want. Go. There it is. All right, there we go. That's what I wanted. So if you simply go to edpuzzle.com, that'll bring you here to the EdPuzzle website. And you don't need to sign up if you use your APS account. So what I recommend is just clicking on login, and then you're going to choose I'm a teacher, and then just choose sign in with Google. That does, of course, require that you are logged into your Google Chrome APS account. Does anybody need me to go over how to do that? No, I figure after last year, holy moly, we all lived on the computer. So, but if you need a quick review, you can let me know later and I can show you. So I just click sign in with Google. It automatically opens up my Google account. I click on that, and then I am all logged in. So this is the Google Homes, or the EdPuzzle home screen. And on the EdPuzzle home screen, you'll notice that here along the top, you have content, which will be the content that you are utilizing. You do have a gradebook here. Once you've got your classes set up, you can have multiple classes set up and a gradebook will get going. I don't have a live gradebook because I don't have live students. You do have my classes where you can see the classes that you have created, and we'll talk about how to create classes as we go. Then over here on the left, you have the home page. The home page simply shows some of the more popular videos that people are using right now. You have curriculum, which will allow you to go through, and we'll look at this a little bit more later. There are pre-built curated curriculums. I haven't found them that useful, but then again, I was a electives teacher, so I taught things like engineering design, architectural design, film production. For core teachers, there might be some more useful things there. We can take a look at it. APS does have their own EdTech page, and the great thing about this is these are all videos that have been curated by APS teachers. They've already got questions and things embedded in them, and you can use them as is if you want to. What I do recommend, though, is no matter whether it's curated by APS or you're doing your own, make sure you view the entire video ahead of time to ensure that it's 100% applicable to your class. Great thing is, and we'll work through this as well, if you find one that has been curated by an APS teacher, you can still make a copy of it and edit it to fit your needs while still maintaining some of the work others have done. Anything that you create in EdPuzzle as an APS teacher automatically gets added to the APS curated content. Then you have the My Content area. These are the videos that you have utilized and are currently live on your website. Excuse me. Then we have our popular channels. These are all the different places that you can pull videos from to create your own content. So we've got EdPuzzle, right? And if you look on EdPuzzle, you'll see these are all EdPuzzle videos that other people have already made. So they're going to contain content with them. We've got YouTube, which is literally everything on YouTube ever. Khan Academy, National Geographic. A lot of people love to use the TED Talks. Some Some of these I haven't used. I haven't used Veritasium, which I'm assuming is a science thing. Numberphile, I'm assuming that's all math stuff. And then Crash Course is, these are all animated videos. Again, I haven't used them much, but I'm told there's a lot of great stuff there. So we're going to go ahead and start here at home. And we're going to start with what you would do from the get-go, which is you're going to want to create a class. So once you're logged in and ready to go, you're going to go to My Classes. And you may have no classes here. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to archive mine so it'll look just like yours would. Okay, so you would get in here and you would see nothing but add a new class. Now you can create classes one of two ways. Option one is you can create a class manually, or option two, if you are a Google Classroom user, you can convert. You're not converting. You can take a Google Classroom and use that as a template to create your EdPuzzle classroom. So I'm going to show you both options here, because if you're not a Google Classroom person, then you're going to have to manually create those classes. So to manually create a new class, you're simply going to click Add New Class. When you choose Add New Class, now you can connect to a learning management system, which is currently only Google Classroom. There's talk about Seesaw pairing with EdPuzzle, but it has not yet happened. So you're going to name the class. So I'm just going to call it Mr. D's Full Class. You can add a description here that is strictly optional. All right, so we'll just, why wouldn't you want to make it? There we go. I can't type this morning. You can choose your grade level. Right? Now, this grade level will help you sort videos a little bit as you go, but not a ton. So I'm going to go ahead and create mine. Now, this is the downside. You can't select multiple grade levels. You can only select one. So like I, as a teacher, my classes were 9 through 12 because I taught at a high school. So you just got to pick one. And then you can select a subject from this wide range of things. And I'm just going to choose other because they're not going to have what I want. Then you click Create Class. Once you've created that class, then you need to invite students to join the class. All right? To do that, you click on the Invite Students, and you'll notice you've got 3 options. Option 1 is you can share this code with students, and then they go to EdPuzzle. All right, so I'm going to copy that real quick. And what your students would do is they would go to edpuzzle.com. They would log in, choose I'm a student, and then they would use this code to join the class. Your second option is you can simply copy the link, send that link to students. When they click on the link, it automatically joins them into your class. Your third option is you could share via email, which is going to open up whatever email program you have set as default. Mine is currently Xfinity. And then you could send that to your students via email. All right, so I usually would do like the copy link, and then I would go to my APS email. I would create a new email, and I'm just going to send it to myself here for the moment. And when you paste that link in, whoops. Wrong place. There we go. I paste that link. Come on. There it is. Then I'm going to highlight it. I'm actually going to turn it into a hyperlink here. And now when my students click on that, it takes them directly to EdPuzzle, where they would sign in and they would join. It would automatically join them up to the class. Have your students sign in with Google as well. They should be logged into their APS Chrome accounts using Chrome, log in with Google, and that way it's all connected up together. So once you have students logged in that way, you can go to Gradebook, and then that Gradebook would be right there with all of your students enrolled in. Okay, and we'll talk about how those things populate later. Now, your other option is you go to My Classes, and then we want to create a new class. Go back to My Classes, click the plus, and then we're going to connect with LMS. Choose Google Classroom. It's going to find all of the Google Classrooms that you currently have available. You can select one or more of them if you want to. And then once you do that, I don't want to use that one. I'll just use my Mr. G's biology class. Oh, that one's already used. We'll do secondary engagement. I can choose the grade level, the subject, and then import the class. And you will notice that now my secondary engagement class is included, and all the students that are enrolled in that class in Google Classroom are automatically added to my EdPuzzle classroom. So now if I go to secondary engagement, I'll go to gradebook. I'll look at secondary engagement. I don't have anybody in that class currently, but they would all show up here in my gradebook. So creating a class is really, really easy. If you're using Google Classroom, it's a cinch. If you're not using Google Classroom, there's that one little extra step, but it's still not too bad. Any questions on setting up your classroom? That's kind of the very beginning. Got to do that before you do anything else. All right. Once you have your classroom set up, the bulk of the work is going to happen here in content. Okay, you're going to do most of your work here in content. So what I generally like to do is I will go to I just had a brain fart. Excuse me. Give me just a moment. I will go to my content, and then here you can click add content. Now, what I recommend doing is first find the video you want to use. Make sure you're familiar with the video and you're really happy with it ahead of time. Now, it can be a video that you created. So if you've used something like Screencastify or whatever, you've already created your own video. You've uploaded it to YouTube. You can use your custom created videos. If not, right, you can click on add content and you can either create a video or upload a video. So I'm going to create a video. And then from here, I'm going to have to search for the video I want. Okay, and now I can search YouTube. I can search the EdPuzzle community. I can search one of these other sites, however I want to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and choose YouTube first. Or I can just search all. And I am going to do, I want to teach a unit on Punnett squares, which is a biology thing. Now, again, ideally, I would have gone through and selected my video ahead of time. I'd have done my research ahead of time, known exactly what video I want to use, etc. But I'm going to start right here with this nice, simple, short video. It's 4 minutes and 21 seconds, learning how to draw a Punnett square. So I put a check mark next to that video, and I am going to be ready to go. So I select that video, and it opens it up in my lesson creator. Here in the lesson creator, you are going to be able to start adding questions to the video. All right. So what you're going to want to do first is create a copy of the video. Here you can simply watch it. Right, if you're just doing your research here, you can watch it. My name is Mary Poffenroth. I'm an adjunct professor of biology, and today we're going to have a little fun, etc. And once you know you've got the video you want, you are going to create a copy of the video. It's never going to let you edit the original, so you have to create a copy that's going to put the copy into your content. So I click copy, and then I am going to move that copy in. Here we go. I've got my copy now ready to go. Then I am going to edit my video. And no, I don't want to edit my video. Excuse me. Go back to my content, finish. Here we go. All right. Here's my video open, ready to go. First thing you can do if you want to is you can edit it if there's things you want to clip out of the video. So let's say I don't want to include this intro. I would recommend that you do, but And then I'm going to go ahead and click edit. And I am going to trim the first part of this video out. So you'll see it says, why would you want to cut a video? I'm going to go ahead and cut the video.
Hi, my name is Mary Poppin.
Stop.
I'm an adjunct.
So right there, and I am going to cut it. And I'm going to add a cut. And what that's going to allow me to do is trim that first part of the video off if I wanted to. So I could like select that. I did such a small area. You're going to let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. I can cut that first part off. You see now I've cut off that first piece of the video. Now I've shortened that video up ever so slightly. If I play it, it's going to play it from that very first part. So you can go through and edit out the little bits and pieces you don't want. All right. Once I'm done editing, I'm now ready to start adding in my questions and my voiceover. So as I watch the video.
Hi, my name is Mary Poppin. I'm an adjunct professor. I'm an
scroll
through. Jump to our square, down some ground rules. First, we're going to talk about alleles. Alleles are going to be like different flavors of genes. So you go into the ice cream shop, there's 31 flavors of ice cream. Even though they're all different flavors, they're all still ice cream, right? Alleles are going to be those different flavors of genes that you have available to you. The next thing I want to
So maybe I want to add a question in here. So I'm going to pause it and I'm going to go to questions. Now I can add a multiple choice question, an open-ended question, or a note. Now the advantages here are with a multiple choice question, it will be automatically graded. You can add as many potential answers as you want and then select which one is correct. Open-ended questions are nice because students can write out an answer. The potential downside to them is you have to go back and actually manually grade it. It will not self-grade an open-ended question. Then you can add a note in if, for example, there's something extra you want to add to the content. So I'm going to start here with just a multiple choice question. I click multiple choice, and then I can put my question. Any pair of genes is called A. Then I'll leave a blank. Now, obviously, this isn't how I would necessarily do it because there's obviously only one correct answer, or they've only been given really one answer. So it's an allele, it's ice cream. Can add another answer. It is squishy stuff. Then I can choose which answer is correct. And once I have that done, I can save the question.
talk about.
And you'll see this little marker indicates the question has been added to the video.
Talk about is dominant and recessive. And
now, if I rewind the video, so there's my question, move a little further ahead. Then as students watch this video,
right, alleles are going to be those different flavors of genes that you have available to you. The next thing I want to talk about.
This is what students are going to see. The video is going to freeze at that point. They're not going to see which one is the correct answer. They can choose whichever answer they want. Click continue, and then the video will continue playing. You can add as many of these questions as you want.
Talk about is dominant and recessive. In any relationship, some of those alleles are going to be dominant, and some of those alleles are going to be recessive. Those dominant alleles.
Now you can add as many questions as you want, right? So I'm going to add an open question, open-ended. What are the two different types of genes? Okay, I save that question.
They're present.
And now when students watch it,
the alleles are going to be dominant, and some of those alleles are going to be recessive. Those dominant alleles, if they're present,
they're going to click here, they're going to receive the question, and then there'll be a box where they can type out their answer. I would probably want to formulate a much better question, maybe provide some guidance, etc. to that. We can then just continue right along.
Also, in each of our cross pointables. Okay, so we have the father. Big.
Then I can add notes in, right? And with a note, don't forget, I'm going to save it.
Little
And when students
taste,
get notes,
little b is going to be for the recessive. Okay, so we have the father. Big B, little.
It gets to the note. They simply see that note, and they're going to have to click continue
B,
to
little
be able
b.
to
He's
view.
heterozygous.
So editing out your video is really, really simple. The other thing you can do is add in a voiceover. So maybe I get to this point, and I want to say, I'm going to add a voiceover. Voiceover is blocked to comply with your view. Oh, because this is somebody else's video, they have chosen the option to not allow me to add to their video audio to it. So the voiceovers are only going to be available on certain videos. So that's something you want to check out ahead of time. If this would allow voiceover on it, a little record button would come up. I could click record whatever I want to say. Don't forget, when working with Punnett squares, you always choose a capital letter for the dominant allele and a lowercase letter for the recessive allele. I finish, I click save, and it's going to add that voiceover in. So as students watch it, when they get to the voiceover, the video pauses. They have to listen to that voiceover before they can continue. You can add as many questions, voiceovers, etc. as you want. Once you have your video all edited out, you've got all your questions and stuff answered the way you want it, you're going to click finish right here in the upper right-hand corner. Now notice that it says it's saved automatically. One of the great things about EdPuzzle is it does save your work as you're going. Even if I don't click finish, and let's say I get kicked out of EdPuzzle or whatever, so I accidentally get kicked out of EdPuzzle. If I come log back in and go to my content, that should be in here. Oh, did it really not save? My puzzle home. Let's see if it saved it here. Nope. Ah, see, it didn't save mine. Yeah, it did. There it is right there. Duh. It's right there. Okay. So it's in there. I can open that up. All my questions are still in place, etc., ready to go. All right. I can still edit it. I can duplicate it. I can share previews. The video is public, though I can make it private. A private video then cannot be opened by other people, and that would also keep it from showing up in that APS curated content. I've never really created private videos. I've always just left them public because if other teachers want to use my stuff, cool. Now, once your video is done, you are going to assign your video to your students. To assign the video, you simply click assign, and then you can assign it to one or more classes. So I'm going to assign this to my biology class because it's a biology video. I can prevent skipping if I want. Right? And you'll notice here it says if checked, students will not be able to skip ahead. I always have prevent skipping because otherwise my kids don't watch the video. They just skipped question to question to question, answer it, and then they're done whether they got it right or not until they started figuring out I was giving them grades and then they watched. But I always prevent skipping. You can turn closed captioning on if you want to. I usually turn closed captioning on just because some of my students learn better by reading it than listening to it. If you do not turn closed caption on, it will not be available. Students cannot turn it on later. And then I can post it on Google Classroom, which is what I want to do in this case because I'm putting it in Google Classroom. I can then set the date I want the assignment to start. So I'm going to start the assignment tomorrow. I can set the due date. Ooh. Due date will be 14th. I can set a time if I want to. By default, it always sets it for 11:59 on the day that it is assigned. I can save that information. And then as soon as I click assign, it's going to go straight to my Google Classroom. And you see right here, it says it's posted on Google Classroom. So if I go to my Google Classroom, what I will find is go to my biology class. And I go to my classwork tab. And there's my EdPuzzle due tomorrow. When students open that up, there's a link straight to it. They click it. They watch the video. Now notice they can't skip ahead.
My name is Mary Poffenroth. I'm an adjunct professor
They
of
can
biology.
try, but as soon as they try, it drops them right back to where they were. So it's great in that it forces it. It forces your students to watch it. I always used I didn't always. For my last few years of teaching before I moved over here to EdTech, I did a flipped classroom where I would require my students to do not homework, but pre-work. And they would have to watch this video before they came to class, answer the questions. And that way I didn't have to teach all the content. We could have a discussion about the content that they had already viewed. So this is a great way to preview content for your students. Excuse me. So that they have an idea. And then because it's in EdPuzzle, you'll know who did it and who didn't do it. Now, there's no way for you to know whether or not a kid just hits play and then walks away, comes back later, and answers the question, and walks away, comes back. But you'll know because you'll be able to see their grades. Right? And their grades, the great thing will be, once they finish the assignment, here in Google Classroom, you'll see how many of them have turned it in. Because when they finish the assignment, if it's all multiple choice questions, it gets auto-graded. If you had open-ended questions, then once you're done, the day, let's say the morning of class, you come in here, you go to My Classes. I'm sorry, you go to Gradebook. You choose the Gradebook. And then in here, you'll see all the students who've done it. You'll be able to click on each assignment and see their answers. Okay, unfortunately, I can't show you that because, again, I don't have students to show you that with. But you'll be able to see which assignment it is you're looking at. You can change the dates. I want to see every assignment from the 13th through the 23rd. Save it. And then if I had students, I'd see all the students and who had turned it in and who hadn't. All right, and then students, I'm able to grade that ahead of time. That grade will, if I want it to, apply directly to their course grade, etc., through Google Classroom. Or if you're doing it in Seesaw or whatever, then you can, of course, always just come to your Synergy gradebook, log into that, and it'll log in. Here we go. Maybe Synergy's moving at half the speed of smell as normal. Got it. And then I could come into my gradebook and I could manually add those assignments in as I chose to do so. Okay, so creating the assignments is really, really simple. It simply takes a little bit of time to go in, curate the videos you want. In my content, do a little bit of looking ahead to figure out what you want to use and what you don't, and then post those assignments as you go. Okay. Once the assignments are filled up, and if I come here to, I don't have Pro School. Where's my account? Let me move my account. Sources. That's not where I want to be. Where is the pro information? Oh, I guess I still have a pro account. Maybe the pro account is still hanging on from last year. But you've got all of your content that you can view, etc. You can even keep your old archived classes. What I usually did is I would just archive my classes from previous years so that I could go back and reuse the assignments later. I could come in here to last year's class and I could restore that class. And then when I restored it, I could look inside that class, pull old assignments out, reutilize them, etc. Okay, so creating those assignments was really, really easy. Now, the other thing you can do from within your classes is, so like here's my biology class. Here you can see the things that I have assigned. I would be able to look at my students, see their grades, etc. in here, right? And I can't import my students because there's nobody enrolled in my class currently. But those would be, let's go back to my classes. Here we go. And I can see what I've done with each class. Oh, here, so secondary engagement. As soon as students finish an assignment, then they would show up here in my grade book. Okay, as having seen, so that I could see that they've actually finished that assignment. Does that make sense? I know it's always kind of hard to see when I don't have students to show. That's the one downside to the way we're doing things right now. All right. Now, some other things that you can do from within. Let me go to my content. So we've talked about how to add content to your assignment, right? You can sort that content in different ways as you're going. Let me pull something else up here really quick for my use. Are there any questions or anything right now? You can feel free to chime in if you've got any questions or anything that's come up so far. All right. Give me just one moment. As you can see, EdPuzzle is really a pretty simple program to use. The hardest part is creating that content, getting in, figuring out what kind of questions you want. I always ran it by somebody else to read through the questions and make sure things made sense before I, gave it to my students to utilize and so on. Let me go to my. There we go. All right, now, if you were creating your own videos that you wanted to utilize in EdPuzzle, then what you can do is when you go to add content, you can upload a video directly to your library. So if I had a video I wanted to utilize, so I'm going to click upload a video. I can either pull something from my Google Drive or my local machine. Now, last session, I taught a class on Screencastify, so I'm going to use that video. So I'll click choose a file, and I will choose my Screencastify video, choose open, and now it's uploading that video directly to EdPuzzle. All right, that video is now in place. Let's see, where'd it go? Here we go. It's now going to process its way through. We'll give that a few minutes to process and get in there. But you can add your own content that way if you want to. All right. That then allows you to do your custom curated videos. If you're a teacher like I was, a lot of times I wasn't happy with what was on YouTube. So I'd watch stuff on YouTube to get ideas, or I'd take maybe a lecture that I would have done with my students and I would create my own content and upload it this way. This part, preparing it, takes the longest. I'm going to go ahead and use this one now that I've already created. So with this one, this is a little video on Disneyland that I was just playing with when I was teaching my film class with students, and I created questions in there. And then I can go in and I can add questions, etc., by choosing the video. And then as I play through it, sorry, I have to go through and edit that video. And then as I watch the video,
a work of art. It was quite obvious.
I can add in additional questions and things as I go. Okay, so once that video is uploaded, you can add questions as you go. I'm going to finish that one, come back to my content. And that video is still processing. Another way that you can add content is if you do add content, you can create student projects. Now, these student projects then, when I click student project, you are going to make an assignment where students have to make their own videos, upload them to EdPuzzle, and they're the content creators. They're submitting their created content to you. So maybe I will do, how to create a unit square. So instead of showing my videos maybe I've taught it in class and now I want them to create a tutorial on how to make a Punnett square for their classmates to use. Right? Show the class that you know how to create a Punnett square. Right? And I can give all my instructions here. Obviously, this is not the instructions I would give to my students, but you can give all the detailed instructions there, and then you save that project. Now, with that project saved, I can come down here to projects. I can select a project, and I can assign that project to, again, whatever classroom I want to assign it to. Now, the students have to make the video and upload that video. Right? This is a great way to have students show their understanding of a content in a different way. If you want to give those alternate options to show understanding, is to create their own assignments. And you can see then any projects that you want to create. So here's one: demonstrate your ability to shoot, describe the 12 most common cinematic shot types. I did this with my film students every year. We learned about the 12 different cinematic shot types. Then they had to create a video showing the 12 shot types and then include questions. And in this case, I didn't even require them to include questions. They had to upload a video that they created that highlights the 12 most common cinematic shot types. They would create that video and upload it. Then I could go into the grade book, see their videos, and grade them for it. So especially now that all of our students have Chromebooks or iPads in their hands, using that technology, and I used to have my students use their cell phones even, give them, it's another reason for them to use that technology in a new and different way to show their understanding. It's a great differentiated way to show understanding to your students. And then again, I can assign that to whatever class I want to assign it to. All right. Your final way to add content is to come in here, and if you want to create new folders, so maybe I'm going to create a new folder that I want to call Film Class Assignments. Assignments for advanced digital film production. And then I save that folder, and you'll see that I'm going to have down here, well, my folders aren't using, there's my film assignment. I can take assignments here. I can take this one, and then I could move it to a folder. I'll take this one instead. And I'm going to move this assignment to the film class assignment. And now that cleans up my content. Helps you keep everything nice and organized. In my film class assignment folder now are all my film class assignments. I have my biology, my engineering, so on and so forth. All right, so those are really that's EdPuzzle kind of in a nutshell. From there, it's just how creative you want to get. And the great thing is you've got the great wide world of YouTube and EdPuzzle. And if you've never used Khan Academy has a lot of really great videos. Sometimes they're a little dry, but they're all academically designed. They're designed for academic purposes, whereas opposed to YouTube, sometimes things are a little bit more questionable. I loved with my biology students using National Geographic stuff. So those are great ways to go as well. Well, let me pause there. Are there any questions so far? And really, once you get in there, just kind of playing with it is the best way to go. Now, I did mention this curriculum tab. In curriculum, I'm a high school teacher. So if I go to view content and I go into science and then I go into biology, you see there are lessons broken up in here for me. So I want to do genetics and heredity. I want to do beginner level 1 stuff, DNA versus RNA. I can pick a video that I want to look at. There's the video all created for me. Now, this doesn't have any content yet. So there are no questions or anything assigned to it. So what I would now have to do is create my own copy. That copy is now created. I will edit it. And now I can go in and add my questions.
In this animation, we'll see the remarkable way our deep
And I can go in and add my questions, etc. When I'm done, I can finish it and I can assign it. If I go back to my content, I now see that DNA replication is there. If you've got extra copies, like you see, I've got extra copies here. So I know this one has my questions because I can see here that this has 3 questions. This is my extra copy. I'll check mark it. I'll delete it out of my content just to keep my content nice and clean. All right, so managing this. This one has 1 question. I don't want this. So I'm going to check mark it, and I'm going to delete it out of my content. Okay, but they're all going to be still saved here in Albuquerque Public Schools. You can see there's the DNA, there's the Punnett squares, all that stuff that I just did has all been added here to APS. I can search with an APS for, let's see, I only want kindergarten content. Now, all the videos that people have indicated, APS individuals have indicated are great for kindergarten are shown there. This is within the Albuquerque Public Schools content library. Keep in mind, this is all curated by people. So I always, again, recommend viewing that stuff. Make sure you agree with what other people have suggested this is great for. That is really, now let's see if I'll go back to my content. See, here's my, there's my screencastify. This is the one I uploaded. So that video is now ready to go. And I could edit that one in. And that's the custom created one that I uploaded. So EdPuzzle is really a very simple tool, great for taking videos or your own created content and then turning it into a interactive, more or less, way of utilizing videos in your class. Because certainly I, as a teacher, I always used video. I've always used video. I mean, I've been teaching for 25 years. But I know that a lot of times when I just put a video on, kids, the head went back and they didn't pay any attention. Now I know whether they're paying attention or not because I'm adding in questions. I'm evaluating as I'm going. I was a big project-based learning classroom. So my students got a lot of their content from videos that I curated for them. They could also go back and watch those videos again later on if they wanted to.